right? So here's what he had to say. I didn't watch the entire thing. I did watch like up to here, I think. And I thought it was pretty reasonable. I want to play all of it though, and I want to talk about it as quickly as possible here.
Hello, friends. I'm making this video to talk about.
Oh fuck! Before I do that though, I totally forgot to run the ad break. And for the record, like Ethan Klein has apologized for exactly a similar thing. You guys know this. I've defended him as well. I defend people that I disagree with or defend people that I agree with. It doesn't matter. Ultimately, if someone has demonstrated growth, if someone has already stopped and have personally rehabilitated, why the fuck am I going to constantly bring it up? Unless it's like relevant to the conversation. If Joe Rogan was still doing like hella racist shit right now, okay? If he was like constantly trying to dog whistle or be as racist as possible against black people specifically and like, doing shit like that, okay? And that's when you bring up the old stuff that he did to be like, look, this is a long history of his racism. Then that's different. But for the most part, I don't think that, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think that he's like, I think that comment about Michael Eric Dyson and blackness during Jordan Peterson interview helped kick this off. That probably is a part of it. He's just a dumbass. Like, he is the racism here of Joe Rogan's like racism is like not the Joe Rogan's racism from 12 years ago. You know what I mean? It's like old, out of touch white guy racism, which is expected to some degree. It doesn't make it all right. It doesn't make it appropriate. But like the old stuff, that was actually fucking racist. And I don't think he's like that. I think he has actually gotten a lot better. But let's hear what he has to say.
Regretful and shameful thing that I've ever had to talk about publicly. There's a video that's out that's a compilation of me saying the N-word. It's a video that's made of clips taken out of context of me of 12 years of conversations on my podcast, and it's all smushed together, and it looks fucking horrible, even to me. Now, I know that to most people, there's no context where a white person is ever allowed to say that word, never mind publicly on a podcast. And I agree with that now. I haven't said it in years, but for a
like this is correct. Like, I think that this is not only correct but good.
Long time when I would bring that word up, like if it would come up in conversation, instead of saying the N-word, I would just say the word. I thought as long as it was in context, people would understand what I was doing. Like that context was part of the clip we were talking about Red Fox, how Red Fox said that word on television in the 1970s and how times have changed so much since then. Or about how Richard Pryor used it as one of the titles of one of his albums. Or I was quoting a Lenny Bruce bit, or I was quoting a Paul Mooney bit, or I was talking about how Quentin Tarantino used it repeatedly.
So this is for the times where he's like said it while like, talking about the word or anything like that. That is understandably something that he's apologizing for. I don't think he talks at all about the Planet of the Apes thing. Like that one is worse for sure. In my opinion, that is more hateful and more racist than him just saying the N-word. Like when he's talking about the N-word, you know what I mean? So we'll see. I don't know if he talks about it, but maybe he will.
Or I was talking about how a Netflix executive, ironically, used it because he was trying to compare it to another offensive word, and he said it out loud, and they fired him. Not calling anybody or just saying the word out loud. I was also talking about how there's not another word like it in the entire English language because it's a word where only one group of people is allowed to use it, and they can use it in so many different ways. Like if a white person says that word, it's racist and toxic, but a black person can use it and it could be a punchline. It could be a term of endearment. It could be lyrics to a rap song. It could be a positive affirmation. It's a very unusual word. But it's not my word to use. I'm well aware of that now, but for years I used it in that manner. I never used it to be racist because I'm not racist, but whenever you're in a situation where you have to say, I'm not racist, you fucked up. And I clearly have fucked up.
I mean, this is the part, this is the extent of what I watch. And up to this point, 100%, like this is valid. Obviously, it's not my place. I'm a fucking white dude. Not only am I a white dude, but I'm a white dude who grew up in Turkey, okay? I'm a white dude who grew up only seeing black people and black culture in Hollywood. That's just the fucking, that's just the reality. Like, that's not, there isn't like a black culture in Turkey in the same way. There aren't black people in Turkey in the same way. So up to this point, though, I do think this is like a person who legitimately is like, yeah, no, this is fucked up. Like, this is not, what I did was inappropriate, and I'm sorry, and I don't do it anymore.
And that's my intention to express myself in this video, to say, there's nothing I can do to take that back. I wish I could. Obviously, that's not possible. I do hope that, if anything, that this can be a teachable moment. Because I never thought it would ever be taken out of context and put in a video like that. And now that it is, holy shit, it looks bad. And it's part of also me doing this podcast for thousands of hours, thousands of episodes, over 12 years. I said a lot of fucking stupid shit.
By the way, for when he's out of context, or when he says he's out of context, what he's talking about in that situation is like the Young Turks clip that's going around. You know what I mean? Like, maybe not even to the same degree, because like contextually, the fucking TYT hosts are not racist. Like, in any case, like most of the fucking clips that they found, that they pulled, they're literally talking about, most of the clips that they found, they're quite literally talking about like the Young Turks covering white supremacy and racist shit from an anti-racist, anti-white supremacist point of view. So it's really fucking idiotic when like reactionaries clip shit like that and go, "Whoa, look at that," which is very different still, okay? When you even apply context to the Joe Rogan situation, because like he still is doing the Planet of the Apes joke at that time, you know what I mean? So like that stuff is racist. Like that is absolutely fucking rafist. Let's continue. I'm going to look at all the other stuff. He made his guest say it last year. That sort of shit. Like I'll look at, okay. I'll look at, after. Okay. Let's just continue with this for now.
It's fine when you're talking about most things, but not when you're talking about race. And there's another clip that I have to address. There's a clip from 11 years ago. I was telling a story on the podcast about how me and my friend Tommy and his girlfriend, we got really high. We were in Philadelphia and we went to go see Planet of the Apes. And we didn't know where we were going. We just got dropped off by a cab, and we got dropped off in this all black neighborhood. And I was trying to make the story entertaining. And I said, we got out and it was like we were in Africa. It's like we were in Planet of the Apes. I did not, nor would I ever say that black people are apes, but
I mean, you did. It's the joke. The joke that you made is bad. It's hacky. It's hacky. It's bad. It fucking. This is literally worse than like reading out the N-word in a quote, or is so much worse than like, it's just bad. It's not good. There's no reason to fucking defend that. Like, there's no reason to try and defend that. It's like, I think one thing that we need to do as human beings is be like, look, I fucked up. You know what I mean? That's fucked up. It's horrible. Endpoint, you should just admit that that's hacky as fuck. Like, that is the most hacky fucking thing you can say. Okay? It is. Racist jokes, even if you're thinking about it from the point of view of fucking trying to make comedy, racist jokes are hacky as fuck. It's literally bottom of the fucking barrel. It is just the worst. Anyway, we know you defend some garbage ass jokes sometimes. Yes, I'm sorry that I don't live in your fucking idiotic worldview. Anyway, but my point is this. Remember, my point is always this. You should be able to fucking own the bad shit that you did, apologize, and move on and demonstrate growth, okay? So the environment that we're in, obviously, people that refuse to do that are at fault. And also on the other side, like when people do that, you still won't let them fucking live. You know what I mean? And it's really fucked up and it's really stupid. It's just like, let people apologize, Joe Rogan should. I don't know if he is right now. It doesn't seem like it. It seems like he's trying to still defend it. But like, people fuck up. People say bad things. People can even be actual fucking racists, okay? People can be like literally fucking racist people. There are Nazis that are no longer Nazis anymore. You know, life after hate. Like, there are organizations that directly work with people that get pulled out of far-right radicalization chambers, okay? And are no longer like that. If you don't believe in rehabilitation, you're not a fucking progressive. If you don't believe that people can change for the better, you're not a fucking progressive. It's one of the most annoying parts about American culture.
11 months since
okay?
Mom abandoned me at this daycare.
It sure fucking sounded like that. And I immediately afterwards said, that's a racist thing to say. Planet of the Apes wasn't even in Africa. I was just saying there's a lot of black people there.
See? He said, I mean...
I was just saying there's a lot of black people there. But
we know what you were trying to say, bro. You're still fucking, you know, anyway, whatever. He's like, he's saying it's racist. He admits that it's racist, but he's still like trying to fucking defend it. I don't know. It's just not great. That part is not great, apology-wise.
It's like we were in...
That's a light 3, okay? On the Fantano scale, I'm rating that part of the apology a light 2, not even a 3.
Africa. It's like we were in Planet of the Apes. I did not, nor would I ever say that black people are apes, but it sure fucking sounded like that.
12 months
and I immediately afterwards said, that's a racist thing to say. Planet of the Apes wasn't even in Africa. I was just saying. Then I went on to talk about what a positive experience it was and how much fun it was to go to see this movie in a black neighborhood. It wasn't a racist story, but it sounded terrible. And like I said, you can have clunky stories about anything, but not about race. And so I deleted that whole podcast, but obviously somebody made a clip out of it and taken out of context. It looks terrible, but it looks terrible even in context. It's a fucking idiotic thing to say. And I was just trying to be entertaining. I certainly wasn't trying to be racist. And I certainly would never want to offend someone for entertainment with something as stupid as racism. My hope is that, look, I can't go back in time and change what I've said. I wish I could. Obviously, that's not possible. But I do hope that this can be a teachable moment for anybody that doesn't realize how offensive that word can be coming out of a white person's mouth, in context or out of context. My sincere and humble apologies. I wish there was more that I could say, but all of this is just me talking from the bottom of my heart. It makes me sick watching that video, but hopefully at least some of you will accept this and understand where I'm coming from. My apologies and much love. My sincere, deepest apologies and much love.
I mean, he is apologizing. He is. It's not great, but I mean, it's the worst thing is like, listen, there's probably a million more clips like this. Okay. From old clips, from new times, clips from like even now when he said shit that's like sussy, like the whole, I'm not, I'm white, but I'm not, I'm Italian, that sort of shit. Like it's, this is like 2016, 2014 era, under Obabe type fucking culture wars all over again. The reason why it's so difficult to fucking apologize for shit like this is because like you're apologizing for a different person than who you are. Okay? You're literally apologizing for someone who you used to be, someone who you are no longer like, someone who embarrasses you. Like looking back at like old shit that you did, it embarrasses you. It's embarrassing. You've changed, right? Especially if you've changed, and looking back at that stuff, it's just like it's whack. Especially if you've literally fucking, especially if you've apologized, especially if you've like changed and don't do that anymore.